everyone, welcome back to Measure and Mix. Today I'm going to be making some Dollar Tree fall DIYs. If you are new to my channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button and don't forget to ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on any new videos. Alright, let's get started on the DIYs today. For this DIY, I'm going to use 3 of these wooden crates from Dollar Tree. I finally found them. And what I'm going to do is just glue them together so that they make one long box. And I just used hot glue, but you could definitely use wood glue. Now I'm going to go ahead and give this piece a coat of dark walnut stain. And while I'm staining, instead of you watching me stain this, I am going to tell you a little bit about Skillshare, which is who is sponsoring this video today. Skillshare is an online learning community that has thousands of classes that let you build on your creativity or explore new skills. And this is a great way to learn right in the comfort of your own home and at your own pace. I recently took a class called Style Your Space: Creative Tips and Techniques for Interior Design. This was taught by Emily Henderson. And this was a beginner class that really helped me understand what my design style is. And this is going to help me in the future when we renovate our new home that I will be featuring on my channel in a few months. So there's not just design classes, there are things like editing, marketing, and even web development. So while you have a little bit of time at home, why not expand your horizons and learn something new or build on the things that you know? If you use my link in the description box today, the first 1,000 people to sign up will receive 2 months from Skillshare for free. After, it's only $10 a month, so sign up now. All right, now back to the video, and it looks like I am just finishing up staining the piece, so that was perfect timing. All right, now let's move on to the next step. The next step was to add some floral foam to my crates. I didn't have enough floral foam, so I ended up using a pool noodle, which actually works really great to hold your flowers. It actually works a little bit better than a floral foam. So I just hot glued a few pieces down inside the boxes. And then I took 3 of these white velvet pumpkins from Dollar Tree, and I just hot glued one to the top of each crate, and then I am going to fill the rest of it with some floral from Dollar Tree. I love these blue hydrangeas. If you see my other fall video, I use them and I just think that they are super pretty. So I filled up some of the boxes with those, and then I'm going to fill in some of the empty spaces with a few of these white peonies from Dollar Tree. And then I came back with some of these berries from Dollar Tree just to give it some contrast and add a little bit more of the fall colors, traditional fall colors into this. And then I came back and I did add some of the leaves from the hydrangeas bunches just to give it some greenery. And that was it. I think it turned out really cute. For the next DIY, I'm going to be using one of these little orange candle holders from Dollar Tree that kind of look like a pumpkin. So they're perfect for fall. I actually ended up picking up 3 of them when I went to Dollar Tree, and when I brought them home, I dropped all 3 of them and only 1 survived. So I had to figure out what I was going to do with them since I only have 1 left. So I decided to wrap the top in some twine just to kind of cover up that part that looks like it should have a lid but doesn't. And then I had some of these wooden leaves left from Dollar Tree from last year, so I took one out and I found a writing online that I liked, and I just tried to write that on to my leaf with pencil first, and then I used my wood burning tool to go over the pencil. So I've only used this wood burning tool once or twice to actually burn into wood, and it's pretty simple to use. The straight lines in fall were pretty easy to do, but when it came down to the script for the suite, that was a little bit more difficult because it doesn't want to, I mean, you can't use it like a pen or a pencil, so you can't really like glide your lines like you should be able to. So it's not perfect, but I do like how it turned out still. And burning the letters into the leaf kind of reflected the outside, the edges of the leaf, because they are a little bit darker. So that's kind of what my thought was in doing the wood burning onto this. So after that was all done, I just used a piece of twine to tie the leaf to the top of the candle jar. All I did was add a battery operated candle to the jar, and that was it. If you're into candle making, you could definitely pour your own candle, but I think this turned out really cute for fall. The next DIY is super simple. I'm always trying to find a way to use the canvas from Dollar Tree because I always use the frame and not the actual canvas. So this time I found a way to use it for fall. So I just cut a piece of the canvas out in a square, and then I loaded it in my printer like a regular piece of paper and used a free printable online and pressed print. And this is what it came out as. It looks really pretty printed onto the canvas. So now to further decorate the canvas and make it a piece of art for your home, I'm going to use one of these Dollar Tree fall signs, and I'm just going to use the decorative orange sides on them because I really like how they look and they complement the orange pumpkin on the sign. So I just measured it to the length of the top of the canvas, and I just scored it with my X-Acto knife, and then I used scissors to finish cutting it off. And then I used some sandpaper to sand down the edges so I wouldn't have jagged edges. Lastly, I just used the pieces to hot glue onto the top of the sign. I hot glued one to the front of the sign, and then I flipped the sign over where I hot glued there, and I added a piece of string for my hanger. This is just cotton twine from Dollar Tree. I just hot glued that to the back of the piece of fake wood, and then I hot glued the other piece over top of that twine and cut the excess twine so that way it was sandwiched together. And that was it for this piece. I think it turned out really cute and it's perfect for fall. This last DIY is super easy as well. It'll take you about 5 to 10 minutes to complete. I had a bunch of this raffia left over from Dollar Tree. I had 3 of them were still in bunches, but the orange was kind of all out of whack because I had taken it apart to try to use it for a different project. So I needed to get it back together into a bunch. So I just laid it all flat as best as I could, and I just wrapped it around 4 of my fingers to bunch it all back up, and then I tied it off in the middle with an extra piece of twine. You want to make sure that it's pretty tight when you tie it off in the middle, because the tighter the better, because it'll keep its form. And then I cut some of the straggler pieces that were hanging off, and then all I did was place my finger inside each one of the loops and then just pull the loops apart to try to kind of separate them and form more of a circle and fill in the middle part that didn't have any loops. So I just played around with it, and as you can see here, it's not perfectly put together. So what I ended up doing was on the sides where there was a gap, I just brought a few of the pieces together, and then I took another piece of raffia and tied those pieces together to make it more of a circular shape, because if you can't tell, I'm making pumpkins out of these. So, and this is really the easiest way I found to do this. And then I just kind of trimmed the excess pieces that were hanging off to make it a little more uniform. But I just tied both of those sides together. I did it on both sides to make it look more like a pumpkin. Now, this brown one here is one of the ones that already was bunched together in the package. So it was bunched really tight together. So I basically did the same thing I did with the orange one, but since it was super tight, I did use a wooden dowel here to kind of try to get in between the loops to pull them apart. And again, I just played with it and pulled it apart and smashed it and wrinkled them up and just tried to pull them as close as possible together. And then I did pull a few excess pieces out, long pieces, so that way I could do the same thing I did with the orange pumpkin and tie those middle pieces together to make it more of a circular shape to look like a pumpkin. And then I just did the same thing with the natural raffia colored one, and I didn't end up using the pink colored just because I didn't go with my decor. Then all I did was go out in my backyard and grab a couple sticks from the ground, and I cut them down, and then I just used some hot glue to attach them to the center of each pumpkin. The first stick was from my boxwood bush, and then this stick was just a regular tree branch. So I did whittle that down a little bit to get more of a natural color, and then I just cut them down to the size that I liked, so that way they would look nice on the pumpkins. And then that was it for this project. I think it turned out really cute. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please make sure to click that like button if you did, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.